Welcome. Please log in.
Okay. I'm really excited for this. Welcome, everybody. This is not a day... so, actually, this is unusual in a few ways. One, it says that I'm still hosting someone, which should be wrong. So, I don't normally cast on this day. I don't normally cast at this time. But Frozen Synapse 2 came out. And I'll be honest, I actually wasn't expecting to get a press key for this. I did sort of throw in, so there were two services. There's one that I normally use, and then there's one which sort of basically said, like, we're not even interested in talking to you. And I don't know if that was set by the developer or not. And I mean, so for those of you who've watched a while, I've done both Frozen Synapse and Frozen Cortex on stream. Frozen Cortex is that one with sort of robot football, and then Frozen Synapse is that strategy game with sort of the green and red units. I really like these. Hey, the Eyes of Sin. It is a surprise stream indeed. It won't be a long one. But anyways, I'm very grateful to Mode 7 for giving me this key. And I even sort of I was really at odds about even requesting it, because this is definitely the sort of thing that I would pick up. But I noticed the press key really gave me like, it motivated me to play it tonight, and it also means that I'm going to be streaming it more often, and I think one of the ways I'll maybe try and pay that back, I'm definitely buying the soundtrack, because I'll tell you a little bit about my background with this game company and why I like this series. Please do let me know if the audio's off. I know that for these ones I always struggle to speak over the really good music, but I also don't want to turn it down too early, because it really is really good. I'm maybe going to rely on the Eyes of Sin to tell me if I'm being drowned out. But yeah, I think maybe so I'm definitely going to buy the soundtrack. That seems kind of a given. And what I think I might do is I'll try and buy this as a gift for someone to sort of pay it forward. I mean, assuming I like it, but I usually don't stream things that I think I'm not going to enjoy. So yeah, as usual, I don't know exactly what the rules are in terms of what proper disclosure is, but for those of you who think that I can be bought for the cost of a Mode 7 game, do keep in mind that my rotten capitalist core is it's open for sale. Excellent, the letter B. Well, hopefully we'll give you some information as to whether or not this is a good purchase. So, again, just a quick word. Most of you are regulars here. You know that I stop casting around this time, and I don't cast on Thursday. So this really is just, I wanted to take the wrapper off this thing, and I figured I might as well stream it, because I really only get one chance to interact with this title for the very first time. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So I want to talk a little bit about Mode 7. I became aware of them from Frozen Synapse. I believe I actually got it in a Humble Bundle. I really, really, really enjoyed that game. Apparently, it was sort of based on a game by Julian Gollop, who is probably best known for XCOM, but also Chaos Reborn and the upcoming Phoenix Point, along with some other titles. But I don't know, it's a strategy game right up my alley. Hey, Mad King Brutos! 4 months of taking my money. I hope I'm using it to buy plenty of coffee, especially if you're up this late. No coffee for me at this hour, Mad King Brutus. I gotta be up for work, but I also really wanted to show this. I shouldn't have said that over the subscription. Thank you very much, Mad King Brutos. Yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint you by only doing a short stream, but as always, I appreciate that resub. 1 quarter already. It's weird to see that time fly, but thank you so much. Yeah, I loved Frozen Synapse. Funny thing is, I've never beaten it, and part of that's because I've had to uninstall it a couple of times and lost my save. I've gotten as far as a mission where everyone has... I think everyone has rocket launchers in it, including you, and I find that one a very difficult one. Who's number 6 in the world rankings? I have no idea. Dick Crony. Definitely not me. One thing I will say, I get a lot of requests to play multiplayer, and I'm less comfortable with that. I really do like playing single player. When I found out about Frozen Cortex, I pretty much picked that up as soon as I could, and again, loved it. I thought it was a neat take on that formula. Apparently it didn't do as well. Oh yeah, I also bought Frozen Synapse for... I brought Frozen Synapse for the iPad as well, because I quite liked it, and I love the idea of playing it on mobile. And again, guys, I'm always bad with these games and the soundtrack, so if I'm getting drowned out, do please feel to let me know. I can adjust the volume pretty simply, but I'm never good at getting an initial level, so that's one of the reasons I'm being a bit more talky on the front. Yeah, apparently Frozen Cortex did not do that well, which I thought was a shame, because I think the game... I can sort of see why the game may not hold the same appeal as Frozen Synapse. I think there's a couple of things that... like, limited... So I like the game a lot, and I actually think I play it more than Frozen Synapse. But I can think of a couple of things that sort of limited me, and I'm sort of like... I sort of feel like I should have had a few more options on something that I did, but that might also just speak to my limited experience with certain aspects of the game. I do enjoy playing it multiplayer, although the problem is because I play it so much, I do tend to find that when I introduce someone to it, the difference is pretty large. When this thing got its announcement trailer, we watched it on stream. I was very excited for it. Now a couple of years later, with UK development fund money, and apparently some hard times for the other half of Mode 7, Eden Hardigam, which I was very sad to read. They managed to get it out, and I guess the biggest thing to say is if you like games like this, it does mean a lot to support it early on. It does help it move up the Steam charts. It helps sort of raise awareness of the game and make other people look at it. So in addition to being given a press key for the game, I really did want to make sure that a game that I have gotten a lot of enjoyment out of got some recognition, and I wanted to give you guys an early look at it. So, with that massive throat clearing out of the way, one other quick thing I'll say is Paul Taylor, who I think is credited as producer on this, is a very talented electronic musician. So he goes by the name Nervous_Test_Pilot. And then he also has a chiptune name called, I think it's _ensnare_. The underscores I might be wrong about. But you can hear it right now. All of his games usually have a soundtrack with it, or some of his older albums that already come with them. You can buy the soundtrack for this game separately. If you like the music and you don't like the game, you can go to Bandcamp and get the soundtrack on its own. But it's almost like this would be unfair, because the games that Mode 7 makes are great, and they're also a publisher now. So if you played Tokyo 42, that's a Mode 7 published game. I haven't played it yet, actually. I'd really like to, but again, I try not to pick up stuff that I don't think I'm going to play right away. Again, it's going to sound sort of unfair to say this, but it's almost like it's really hard to become an electronic musician, so he started making games as a way to get his music out, and it turns out he's really great at both. So that's probably nothing like what his intentions or career curve were, but and that's also very unfair to Ian Hardingham, who I just simply know less about. I do follow both on Twitter, but Paul Taylor has, or sorry, it's Paul Kilduff Taylor, I think, he has the Mode 7 account, so I tend to pay attention a little bit more often. But anyways, I'm gonna shut up. We're gonna do the tutorial, and then we'll maybe try and do a little bit of a mission. Tips: in a dark level where your team has poor satellite coverage, you can use the purple light. Never mind. Alright, tutorial. This highlighted unit is currently carrying some data of great import. We need to extract it by moving to the gray extraction zone on the right-hand side of the map. First, move the camera by holding down the right mouse button and moving the mouse. You can zoom in and out using the mouse wheel or the M and N keys. I feel like the music's starting to drown me out. Sorry, guys. I love the music, but I don't want to... My only added value is my voice, so... Alright, highlighted unit carrying some data of great import. We need to extract it by moving it to the gray extraction zone on the right-hand side of the map. First, move the camera by holding down the right mouse button and moving the mouse, or by using the arrow keys. Uh-oh. Yep, roger that. We have moved. Alright. I'm doing a rotten job of selling this game, sorry about that. Okay. Tell you what, we're just gonna quit out. We're gonna start again. This is, of course, the risk of me taking the wrapping off on stream. I wind up making this thing look terrible.
Welcome.
Okay. You can zoom in and out using the mouse wheel or the M and N keys. Do that now to convince me that you have internalized this information. Select the unit by left-clicking daintily upon it. You've outdone yourself this time. Double-click within this glorious shining box in order to create a waypoint. We have just made a plan that will happen for the next few seconds. Our turn, if you will. Let's test this plan before we commit to it by pressing the play button at the bottom of the screen or the spacebar. Crispy and unfortunate. Our opponent's turn plays out at the same time as our own, and sadly, you will likely be killed by the flamethrower if we did this. It's a good job we tested. We should probably revise this plan and move you further away. Let's delete that last waypoint with a backspace. Now let's move the remaining waypoint and by dragging it into the box. Our masterful plan is now ready, so let's commit to it with the prime button at the bottom of the screen and watch the outcome. Maybe we can preview it first? Nope, won't let me.
System primed.
System is primed. Left-click anywhere on the outcome image to watch the result of the last turn. Moved out of the way and also killed another assailant. You see, units like this pistol attack automatically when they are in range of the enemy. They also continue to move along their plan while attacking. Press next to continue. Let's take a look at that again. Watch as your unit takes down the next enemy. Click on the first turn box at the bottom of the screen and click the play button. Time to take our next turn. This will be slightly more challenging. You can see the waypoints that I've placed for you here. taking you out of the door onto the right. Press next to continue. I believe it is likely this highlighted enemy will run in on an attack vector. Luckily, we can make plans for what we think enemies might do, as well as creating plans for our own units. Press next to continue. Select the highlighted enemy unit by left-clicking on them. I really like this touch to the tutorial because I feel like the original Frozen Synapse wasn't very clear that you could sort of lay out the enemy's plan. I mean, I figured it out, but for whatever reason I didn't start that way, and I found it very helpful the first time I did that. Double-click to make a waypoint for them in the highlighted area behind the half-height cover. You may need to move the camera to see where I'm indicating, as it could be hidden by a wall. Cover like this is denoted by light blue areas. Right, now let's test this plan by pressing the play button or the spacebar. Remember, this is just what we believe the enemy will do. Sacre bleu! Yes, that is exactly what we don't want to happen. Encounters are won or lost depending on cover, aiming, and stillness. This enemy is in a strong position. Cover confers an advantage in most circumstances, but if we're very precise with our aiming, and the enemy is not ducking, we can defeat it. Now drag out that magnificent aim handle with the left mouse button to the highlighted location. The aim handle looks like this and is located on the left of the unit. I suggest you zoom in to find it. Again, remember, if this enemy was ducking behind cover, then they couldn't shoot us and we couldn't shoot them. Now, as we test our plan, watch for indicators next to our unit. The T shows that he has acquired a target. Ah, that's a good improvement. Let's test with the play button or the spacebar. Aiming in the right direction will win many encounters, but here the enemy's cover is too strong. We need to predict his exact location. Drag the end of the aim order to the location I'm indicating here. This is quite a precise location, so you might need to move the camera to see it properly. It's just behind the cover where the enemy is positioned. Adjust the aim order until the end of it is within the small box. This will change the enemy in our focus diamond, giving us an advantage. Our unit will aim at this point until we cancel the aim order. I'll show you how to do that now. We can place orders anywhere on a plan, not just on a waypoint. Select this highlighted point on the plan by left-clicking. Now issue a cancel aim order by opening the orders menu with the right mouse button. You can see here that there's a variety of orders that we're able to place on the plan. Select the cancel aim order. Excellent. Remember, once placed, orders can be dragged around or deleted with the delete key. You don't need to do that now, though. Press next to continue. Now test the plan using the play button or the spacebar. Watch for the F symbol next to our unit, indicating that we've got a focus diamond advantage. Again, remember that they could duck down here and make it impossible for us to hit them. We're only testing what could happen at this point. Oh, damn it! That looks like a sensible plan. Good work. However, we've blended straight into the next enemy. Now, I mentioned stillness being being advantageous earlier. Let's make sure that we're still when that enemy attacks us by making our unit wait. Select the highlighted part of the plan. Open the orders menu with the right mouse button, and now issue a wait order. Spectacular. Now adjust the length of time that your unit waits by dragging the clock icon upwards. Adjust it to 2.5. You might need to zoom in to see the numbers on the order. Yep. Let's test. Press the play button. Ah! Excellent. We were still while our opponent was moving, so gained an advantage. Almost there. If we can make a run for it, then we might still be able to reach the exit. We can still place orders in stacks or use wait orders as part of the stack. Select the wait order here. Open the orders menu with the right mouse button. Now issue a continue on site order. This continue on site order will prevent our unit from attacking, causing them to continue moving along their plan without slowing down to attack enemies. Of course, we'll need to take out the enemy in the extraction zone, so let's add our final order to the plan. Press next to continue. Add the engage on site here, remembering that the orders menu, remember to open the orders menu with a right click. The order will reset the unit to its original behavior. He'll attack enemies on site once more. There we go. Remember to cancel orders like aim, duck, or continue on site in this way. Units will keep doing these behaviors until you tell them to stop. Our plan is now complete. Press prime to commit it, and let's go watch the hilarity.
System primed.
System is primed.
Hostile neutralized. Hostile neutralized.
That'll do for now. You get the idea. We'll need to link up with some other units and free them as well. Our team needs to take out all of these enemy units in order to escape the prison. I'll show you how to use your rocket launcher unit, and then you will take over. Normal turns last 5 seconds. However, a long turn is a turn which ends when all of your units have reached the end of their plans, no matter how long those plans might be. Let's make this a long turn by selecting the option at the bottom of the screen. You can turn it off again later if you like. Now select the rocket launcher unit, which I have highlighted for you. Rockets destroy walls and kill enemies within a radius of their explosion. They do not kill enemies on contact prior to exploding. Drag out and aim to this highlighted location over the right-hand side. If you can't see it, try zooming out. The rocket will strike the wall and blow up. Remember, the aim handle is located here. Alright, so... Oh, I thought these were... Yeah, my bad. Excellent. Now double-click in the area to make a waypoint and move the rocket launcher to this location after firing. Let's test this plan by pressing play to see the impact of the rocket. I like that they included low cover here because I thought that the rocket might explode into these, but obviously that's not a wall, so... Was it the rocket that killed them or the bullet? You'll be on your own from here. A helpful set of reminders are over the left-hand side of the screen. If you would like, you can look up the more complex orders available on the orders menu and then click the Open Reference Guide. Thanks for the convenience of temporal manipulation. You can restart the scenario at any time, so feel free to experiment as much as you like. Click Leave Tutorial to finish. Okay. Let's go back to 5-second turns. So I don't quite know how... I honestly don't quite know how pistols work here, but let's say this is going to be my biggest threat. Just gonna throw this around a little bit. Okay, well, I don't see much of a reason to run this guy around, so... and then the only other thing I want to consider... so basically I'm just trying to make sure that my guys are reasonably safe where they are. So we'll wait. 2 seconds, maybe? Okay, I think that's going to make things a little interesting. I actually also should be paying attention to... Okay, I think I'm actually going to move my pistol guy. Okay, let's see what happens.
Primed.
I wonder if there's a way I can... Ah, they weren't... Okay, they still got it. Okay, so I feel like this bullet should take this guy out. Yep. So, I don't remember who was firing though. Okay. So, we should win this firefight. I think this makes a ton of sense. And... So my only worry is that this guy might take these folks out once, you know, let's commit it and see what happens. Okay, we're in a little bit of trouble. Because we lose our cover advantage. So I'm gonna cancel aim. Once we get into place, I'm kind of curious where these guys are once this finishes. Okay, I don't have nearly as much to fear as I thought I did, but... I sort of think I should cover this just in case, though.
System primed.
Sneaky. Okay, so... I'm actually just going to focus on aiming broadly here. I'm also going to force the issue. I think I'm going to force the issue on the cover. Yeah.
System primed. Hostile neutralized. Hostile neutralized. You are victorious.
All right, that probably took longer than it should have, but that was still fun. Okay, and apparently there's... I wonder if I'm allowed to watch from the beginning again, so we'll zoom out and... If we want to watch the whole thing, we have to play them in fragments. So one of my bad habits from Frozen Synapse 1 was I didn't use the planner enough. So I think that's going to be what does me in again. But we did say we were just going to do the tutorial. We're done, so let's do a city game, because this is kind of the big new headline feature of Frozen Synapse and the one I'm probably most interested in. Okay. Easy mode if you prefer to play without dying all the time. Disable story mission, nope. Iron Man mode, I don't think I'm gonna... I probably should so that I don't learn bad habits, but 2 tactics mode, players can have a maximum of 2 VAT forms on their squad. Jesus. Dark mode, most missions are dark, and insane mode, AI can see your plans before it moves. Jesus. Okay, that'll be really fun, but I'm gonna need to get a lot better at this game. So let's just play it as God intended. Welcome back to Markov Geist. 7 years ago, shapeform entity Charon's Palm destroyed itself along with the ruling Nomad Corporation. The event became known as the Realization. Perhaps that means nothing to you. The city was splintered, and its pervasive network, the Shape, began to fray. Some of Markov's population became reacquainted with scarcity and displacement, their comfortable technology disintegrating around them. For many, the realization was simply a reconfiguration of a familiar trial. Forged from an awkward alloy of ambition and compromise, the hastily assembled Markov Geist Municipal Council set about reconstruction. The result was an algorithmic reformation. Buildings argue against buildings, jostling with anger and idealism. Unspeakable wealth and poverty running through the tumult of traffic, momentary joy and fragmented disputes, powerful factions exerting their dominance through paramilitary posturing. Now the city faces an uncertain future, complicated by the arrival of a new threat. You'll come to understand its meaning. As for me, I didn't come to Markov Geist to save it. I came because I was called. Sorry, I'm struggling with my mic here a little bit. Okay, Bormoth 1 says Xenonauts or XCOM in this mode would be fun. Even with Fog of War, it would allow huge 100-man teams to be controlled easily and have dynamics. That's interesting. Just trying to think how that would work. I don't know about the 100 number, because that would feel a little difficult to manage. I could be wrong though. But yeah, I mean, obviously the heritage of games like this, Laser Squad was a Julian Gollop game, and that, I mean, the influence of that is pretty clearly felt on Frozen Synapse. So, but Bormoth, you've 100% got me. In terms of why I like this game. Like, this is absolutely the kind of strategy game that I enjoy. One of the things I like the most about Frozen Synapse, and it's obviously on display here, like, it's nice that it's very familiar from the original game, as far as the individual battles are concerned, but then they've got some new weapons. Like, the game didn't... Like, you really had no one to blame but yourself if things didn't go right. You would commit to decisions. There wasn't a random number generator. There was a set of pretty clearly defined rules in terms of what would work. You've basically got almost this rock, paper, scissors type game that's modified by things like terrain or stability or whatnot. But I don't know, there's really nothing like it. And it's interesting because from what I understand, Frozen Synapse is quite successful, and there really still doesn't seem to be too much that's similar. I've played a couple of games which are like it, but I think Frozen Synapse is still the best. So, hey, Dodge Viper GT, it's going well. Just a warning, it's going to be a pretty brief stream. I just really wanted to take the wrapper off of Frozen Synapse, although obviously I was given a copy by Mode 7 Games, so I want to do right by them. We're going to be doing plenty of streaming with this game, much like Frozen Cortex or the original Frozen Synapse. But tonight, obviously, is an off night for me, and I need to go to bed anyway. But I thought we'd do I did the tutorial, and now we're going to do a quick run in the city mode. Okay, would you like to run the city interface tutorial? Yes, I would. Right, before we get down to business, let's do some basic orientation. To move the map, hold down the right mouse button and move the mouse. Please use the mouse wheel to zoom the camera in and out. Alternatively, you can use the M and N keys on your keyboard. You can probably manage that, can't you? Hold down the middle mouse button or the mouse wheel to move the mouse to tilt the camera, or press N to skip if you have no middle mouse button. The bottom right of the screen is the shortcuts window. This allows you to locate important things with ease and rapidity. Click on the BU8 HQ and to zoom to your HQ. And Bormoth says, I like the Frozen Synapse battle system and know it is easy to manage. It is an amount of micro which in XCOM move here, do this without any pre-planning that makes it tedious. XCOM 3, I think you're talking about Apocalypse, right? Had 50 or 100 men teams. Mechanics of the game just makes it more dynamics, even if XCOM rules preserved even in randomness. Frozen Synapse is a game of its own. Its predictability is also a thing inherent to it. And Sean Bean says you need to pay close attention to the tutorial. It looks confusing as hell. So this is the part of the game that I don't know about. The cityscape was sort of the new layer that they added onto it. So I'm following through. The big thing is I've learned how to push buttons. I don't think it's quite told me in terms of what it means in a higher level. So. Alright, so we'll click on the HQ. This is the delightful selected location window. You can use it to see the details of the current building or squad, as well as any objects that may be present. Slam the next button directly underneath this text to continue. Are you ready to slam, chat? Slammed! Now that you've achieved basic functionality, I have a call coming through from our illustrious leader. Hello, Alex. My name is Dominic Mettern. I'm chairman... Oh, is it Mettern or Met him? I think it's Met him. I'm chairman of Markov Geist Municipal Council. We try to keep the wheels from falling off. You'll be reporting directly to me. We don't normally use freelancers, but you come highly recommended. I know you've been around for a little while, and your record during Icevex and Torpor Consequence speaks for itself. We've hired you to mount an emergency response to a force which our analysts have named Sonata. You'll be required to send your military assets to any incursions, investigate and protect the population. Bureau 8 has been established to give you some significant autonomy from the Council. Aside from your responsibilities around the incursions, you may act according to your own discretion. The MGMC does not have the resources to fully support an operation on this scale. Therefore, we've secured partial funding for your activities directly from city districts and other major functions. In return for this, you will also be required to maintain a general security force, keep faction activity in check, keep the peace. Sonata's presence has been accompanied by the appearance of powerful objects known as relics. You can recover these from incursion sites, and we will make use of them to generate revenue and enhance our ability to support VAT4 mercenaries. Many of their properties are currently unknown. We are continuing to investigate. Good luck. I look forward to working with you. Let's take a look at the map, and the map views in the top right. Click on each one to activate it. Shape control shows you an area where factions have influence. Local militia are more likely to fight for a faction in those areas. Okay. So this is mine. District shows some information about the various city districts. Gray Line South, funding 8%. So looks like everything's kind of at 8%. Oh wow, there's a bunch of stuff in here. Okay, set it back to normal and click next when you're done. In order to wait for the next incursion, we must start advancing time. Press the play button in the bottom left of the screen. This is a useful button. Once you've set up an action, you'll need to press it to get things moving. Don't forget to do that, okay? Only thing is I don't know if I was supposed to set up an incursion or not. Or if it just happens normally. I'm gonna just assume that something happens. We're requesting immediate assistance with a Sonata incursion in Grey Line South. That's Barrington Fontaine. That was the district governor, Alex. We need to send a squad over there and deploy immediately. The districts may dock your funding if you respond too slowly to incursions, so very XCOM. Time to show what you're really made of. Well, other than globulous flesh, that is. Important events will pause the game and bring up an action token to give you information and shortcuts to likely actions. Red ones are critical. You'll have to deal with them before moving on. You can ignore the others if you want. Sonata is locating relics and then sending squads out to collect them. Luckily, only we have the tech to detect these incursions, so we don't get a load of idiotic factions in our face the whole time. You'll need to send a squad over there to deal with it. Click on the small magnifying glass icon on the action token in the bottom left to see where this incursion has landed. We never know when incursions are going to land, or where incursions are going to land, so eventually we'll need to improve our coverage of the entire city. Conveniently, this incursion is pretty close to us, so let's try and get to it. Click on Send Squad down there to the bottom left. I'll look at details first. We currently have 2 squads of Vatform soldiers. However, I'm just showing you the important one here, as the other is at home defending your HQ. Click on Strike Team on the right-hand side of the screen. Which button should we press next? That's right, it's the play button. Give it a whack and let's watch them make their way to the incursion from our HQ while we remain comfortably at home. Alright, whacking in 3, 2, 1, whack! Our strike team is about to arrive at the incursion and requires orders. You really don't want to see what it looks like when they make their own decisions. Click the Give Orders button on the red action token in the bottom left. Blue Strike Team is about to encounter the Sonata Incursion Squad at Mixed Use Building and requires orders. In general, you will have a variety of options when a squad reaches a node. We're not here to make pancakes, so let's click on the Attack Incursion. So it looks like everybody's got pistols. I'm told that they just appeared from nowhere and started threatening people. We did our best to evacuate. Alex, the Sonata units have arrived at the building's lockdown system. The dark areas on your display are locked doors, whereas the red beams represent the ballistics grid that is defending the windows. When the building is in this state, units cannot enter, fire through the windows, or destroy the walls with rockets. To gain entry, you need to move a unit to the rectangular unlock zone here. Or here. Our attacks will connect to the Vatform in the zone or hack the lockdown system via its shape interface. The building will unlock in your next turn. The zone will turn green when you've activated it. You can deploy your units in this mission. This just means that I'll handle getting them to a specific point for you as long as it's safe. Look at the left-hand side of the screen. Side of the screen. You can click the units in the deployment pane and drop them onto the playfield. You can also drag them around. Alright, I don't know if it indicates... So I'm slightly curious what stops me from just placing it on the... Okay. I'm assuming there has to be like a consequence for that. Can't navigate there. Oh, there's an enemy. Okay. In an enemy's line of... Oh, that's interesting. So apparently... So I'm just thinking behind them doesn't count as a... I'm just trying to think, like... If there's a unit that I can't see, or if the fact that they're... Like, basically they have kind of like a 360 view. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. You can't place units in an enemy's line of sight, and sometimes there will be other restrictions. Watch out for the warnings at the bottom of the screen. Once you place them, you can make a plan for them in the same turn. The guard outside isn't aware of your presence, and I can predict his moves. That's what the circle around him means. Just press play and test a turn to see where he'll go. You won't be able to do that with enemies once they figure out you're there. If you get confused about something, try the info button on the top right. Now go kill things. Oh, fair enough. Okay, well, they're definitely having mercy on the first run, so detecting a high-intensity propagation geometric illuminance interface signature distributed orthogonal to the locus at 2840. Sorry, I mean to say, ooh, look at the shiny thing over there. It's a relic. You don't need to pick it up. Our soldiers will grab it after you've eliminated the Sonata units. Alright, and of course I've tipped everyone off to my whereabouts, so let's see. The ideal, of course, would be able to run in and take this guy out. Yeah, it takes me a while to work, though, so I'm pretty sure if this guy even just turns around like this... Oh, I still win. Okay, that's surprising. If I go straight up to the... He knows he loses. And if he stands his ground... Alright, well, fair enough. Can I get away with it? So again, similar idea. Just say they know exactly where I'm coming. Okay, so I guess he's not close enough. I'm slightly concerned that I'm missing something about how the pistols work, but... And... This is mostly just worrying about what this other pistol guy's gonna do. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, so I messed up. So I'm slightly curious if this guy can come in and... Okay. That's more or less solved. So I think what I'll do here, I'll wait. Basically just wait 1 second to make sure that we clear out the guy, because we should be able to get a clear shot. And I think once we eliminate all the enemies, that should be it. I suppose there's the possibility that there's someone still in this room, but...
System primed.
Oh yeah, I didn't finish the rest of the... Okay, that's fine. Ah, clever. He did the move that didn't involve throwing his life away. Fancy that. Okay. So this guy's already covered, so I think I should be able to do something like this. Not that he's going to be staying here the rest of the time, but... Oh, I might potentially lose my guy on the end of that. Nope, looks like he missed.
System.
We'll see how it goes. Okay, fun. Obviously the problem that I'm running into right now is I'm basically playing to where the AI is, like where the AI was last turn, where obviously what I need to be doing is playing... I need to be playing to what their future options are. So what are the possibilities? Well, one, they stay in here. Two, they try to go out, in which case I want to make sure I have these areas covered. I mean, so one thing they might be able to try is something like that. No, they still... I mean, I think even if I go for a long range... so I think this seems to be the longest range. So on a long range thing, I should be okay. The only other thing I might need to worry about would be if they go to the bathroom, maybe. I think once I have this guy in position, I'm gonna move him. I'm gonna move this this guy out to this other building, because what that'll allow me to do is shoot through the windows as well.
System primed.
Okay, so it looks like he's gonna stay in safety, which is fine, because I've got my guy where I want him to be now. So I'm gonna cancel the aim. The aim. Okay, so he can't like do anything about the. He can't do anything about the window. It'll obviously take us a while, but it's safe. We should probably switch to long turn for this, because I'm assuming most people who have played this game did not take as long to beat this mission as I did, but only the best gameplay on the System Chalk channel. I mean, the dirty thing would be is if there's a unit heading out there. And, oh, so I can't... Oh, there we go. Okay, he's just warming up. All right.
System primed.
Sneaky. All right. Oh, I can't see there. Surely this should work. All right. The other thing I was going to try is move around the back like this. But anyways, good job. You've eliminated the threat. Any objects in the areas you've unlocked will automatically be picked up. Nice one. Disconnecting now. Click on the end mission at the bottom to end the mission. Do I get to see a replay? Oh, that was one thing I always really liked in the original Frozen Synapse, was being able to replay the whole video. Obviously, that one would have been kind of embarrassing, just watching my superior force struggling to take out 2 pistol guys, but you gotta learn somewhere. Excellent work. We've captured some loot, and now we need to get it back to base. The interface gives us a shortcut to send our squad home. Let's do it manually this time. Select our HQ. This should be visible on the map, and you can left-click on either the building itself or its label. If you've got lost, use the shortcut on the bottom right pane again. Oops. Now click the Interact button on the Select Object window, or Selected Object window. Now click Send Squad here. Select Strike Team. Let's advance time so the squad can get back to HQ. Press the play button. You've retrieved an item which can be installed at our HQ. You can see that an action token has appeared, allowing you to do this. All of these actions are available from the Interact menu. Install everything here. Yes. Once a relic has been installed in a base, it can't be taken by another faction. The installation process takes a while though, so a relic can still be grabbed during this time. Installing relics and completing contracts encourages companies to license their VAT4 mercenaries to us. Click on the Merc Market button in the bottom right of the screen. I've highlighted it for you. Have you? Oh, right here. Select a mercenary you like the look of. Nefereti Pistol, Acronox SMG, D-Virus Knife, Liaison Pistol, West Pistol, Gomptez Sniper, and Micropod Toxic. Well, how about we not get the super expensive ones? So, looks like pistols or knives. You know what? I feel like I should learn the ins and outs of the pistols, so... And red is a fancy color. Nah, you know what? Red is the color of the enemy. We'll go for green. Yes, they look extremely dashing and efficient. Click Sign Mercenary. The pistol unit is a rudimentary VAT-form combat unit for those on a restricted budget. It is slow to reload and has low range. Okay, so this is really just the bargain. Alright, well that's fine because I'm bad, so I'll lose a lot of these. Let's add them to your strike team. The arrow button on the correct squad or the Add Merc to Squad button will put them where you need them to be. Now return to the main menu by clicking on the globe icon in the bottom right. I'm going to leave you on your own soon, you'll be glad to hear. If you want further help, I recommend activating help mode by clicking on the question mark in the bottom right. It will bring up some quick help for each of the screens that you can access with the buttons down there. Try it now. You can deactivate it by just hitting the same button again to get rid of those annoying help windows. Convenient. Finally, here's some quick things to remember. Click a building, then interact to do things. You can also click on squads and intersections to interact with them. For example, you could click on an intersection and then give your squad mate a checkpoint here. This can be useful for you guarding areas of the city, and some contracts will require you to do it. Let me read that again because I don't think I follow it. You can also click on squads and intersections to interact with them. Ah, yes, these. Okay. You could click on an intersection and then have your squad make a choke point there. This can be useful for guarding areas of the city. Okay. I also suspect, too, if you know that, so, like, if there's a group that's taken a relic or something like that, you can try and set up a blockade, so I suppose it creates sort of this game in the what would normally be the geoscape in a game like this. And you can sort of intercept them as you pick up the item. That's a neat idea. If you need some extra cash, open the contract screen and take a look there. You might also be able to get extra work by calling up a faction leader from the faction screen. At some point, you'll want to take a new base. You'll need to find a residential or corporate office building, click Interact, and purchase it. You can also seize the building certificate from another faction's base and deploy it in a building to gain control of it. That's a bit risky, though. When you have a squad station somewhere, if you interact with that location and choose set up deployment here, you can get your forces ready for any attacks. You should consider doing... Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Somebody very nice liked an article. Oh yeah, so I did a small article for those of you who like the blog posts. I'll probably do a audio recording for it, but I feel like I kind of rushed it a bit. When you have that squad station somewhere, when you have a squad station somewhere, if you interact with that location and choose set up deployment here, you can get your forces ready for any attacks. You should consider doing that for your HQ when you've finished this tutorial. Right. That's it, I'm finally done now. Your priority is the incursions. Get to them as fast as you can or districts will cut your funding. Aside from that, you have to keep us in business by doing contract work. Oh, and you'll need to stop the factions from getting out of control. Should be fine. Yes, if you run out of inspiration, just slam the fast forward button down there and wait for the next incursion. I have faith in you, technically speaking. Alright. So as suggested, let's do my squad. Now setting a deployment for this location. You may drag units around and set patrol routes for them by making waypoints the usual way. When enemies arrive at this location, your units will follow these patrol routes until the enemy is spotted, at which time they will return to your direct control. If this is a location where items may be stored, use the Set Item Storage button on the left to select a location for this. We got quite a few people. So I gotta think, Mr. Pones, how you doing? I guess one real problem is I have no idea if people with rockets are going to be coming in. Mr. Pones, this is last 10 minutes of shifting going home. Well, that's fine. We won't be live for too long because I do need to go to bed. But this is Frozen Synapse 2. This just came out today. This is a sequel to a game I like very much called Frozen Synapse. It's by Mode 7 Games. They also made Frozen Cortex, which was it's sort of like a football version of this style of game. It's so this game is a strategy game. Both sides lock in their turns. And there's no random number generation. Essentially what happens is especially if you're playing with another live opponent, you need to think about what they'll do and try and come up with the best reply while they're doing the same. So sort of what I'm doing at this point is trying to set up a defense if somebody were to attack my base. Yeah, I really do strongly recommend. If you like strategy games at all, I think Frozen. I mean, I call them the Frozen Brain Bits games. All of them are really, really special in my view. So I do definitely recommend that you check them out. Okay, let's say this is going to be the storage. Your units are initially in randomized positions. Drag the map around to find them. Okay, so Pistol Bro. maybe start like this. I guess this is kind of like a patrol route. The biggest thing I would like is to create as much as an incentive as possible to direct the enemy units into one entrance. So the problem is they can move, they can go into this room, so. Yeah, you should probably do something like this. Yeah, you know, I think this is kind of a crappy base defense, but probably should be behind the cover. And then I think the problem is they might be able to deploy inside this area here. But, you know what? I'll say finished for now. I think probably it's better that I just learn, I think it's better that I probably just learn, I learn through mistakes in terms of how those defenses work. I am also slightly curious, so if we go by district views, so let's say, I'm just kind of curious what a residential building costs. So mixed use. I think they said that residential has to be. I think they said headquarters have to be residential. So. Okay, so it costs 54 to purchase something ordinary. There's like a luxury tower somewhere. Corporate office. Okay. Ruined. Anyways, we're looking at 50k to expand, so I should probably start doing some contracts. Okay. Would you like to have more contract opportunities? Call up a faction and talk to them about work for hire. So, parcel tossers, pick up at 64 Queen, patrol the building, eradicate raider force, and that apparently... So this is apparently the worst possible contract because it pays so little. And I actually need to fight. Okay, let us accept the contract. Let's see how this goes. Of course, there's going to be an incursion. And I get owned. I have a call coming through. No further word on the significance of the relics, I'm afraid. The analytical team is struggling. We may well need to secure some external assistance. There's still no clue as to Sonata's origin or intentions. I came to Markov about 10 years before the realization, when the corporations were just starting to make real moves. I resigned my commission after Icevex and my family settled here. I needed to move back to the Republic. Couldn't face another tour of duty out there. I'm sure you can understand. Things were certainly less than perfect, but the administration was trying to put it all together. Everyone was starting to figure out where to fit. And Neo Nomad kept things under control, and the shape was a revelation. It was embedded across the entire city. You could walk from Cortica to Danshan and stay entirely immersed. They discovered Charon's palm somewhere out there in the depths of the network. They allowed it to connect to everything. At first, it was a huge improvement. It helped to bring people together, keep the city functioning on a systemic level. Then, I never found out exactly what it was. It started to become self-destructive. It was giving tactical assistance to violent insurgent groups, fighting against itself. I've never seen such devastation. Guest is attempting to deploy a shape virus in Hope Ridge. So this seems like a strong faction. Alright, we'll let it slide for now, I suppose. Strike team is about to arrive at the courthouse. It requires orders. Give orders. Pick up. And send to 17 Muir. We've launched an operation. We've launched an operation to corporate office. Cool. So this is kind of neat. And one thing that's neat about this is there's a certain so I think one thing that I like about this idea, and again, I'm fairly early on in this, but one of the things I enjoyed the most about Frozen Synapse when I started was this idea of constantly second-guessing what my opponent might do. So there's that first level where I'm just moving green shapes around the map, and the enemy's standing still, and basically almost like the stuff that I was doing on that tutorial mission. And it's like, yeah, the enemy's just gonna stand there and and wait for me to shoot them, and it's gonna be awesome because I'm awesome and I deserve to win this. And then, of course, they turn around and do the most basic possible reply to your "I'm going to run in and shoot you" strategy, and you're like, oh yeah, I guess I need to think a bit about this. And then, you gain some degree of sophistication, and the game becomes this really great... I mean, I love it because it reminds me a lot of my game theory classes where I need to sit and think about the best replies, and there's, like, when you do game theory problems, I notice there's an urge that I need to suppress, because it's an urge that I feel when I play games too, where it's like, I want to win, and by force of will, I'm going to make this win happen. But clearly you need to think about what your opponent is going to do. And I mean, in game theory, obviously not everything has to be like zero sum, or like you want to do best for yourself. And in the case of a game like this, usually that means defeating your opponent, whereas in econ applications, that isn't always true. But again, it's one of these ones where if you really want an answer to be the right answer, you will have a tendency to ignore the best replies that don't lead you to that conclusion that you really want, and to become good at those kinds of problems, you suppress that urge. Likewise, in a game like this, you need to think, what is the most sensible reply to what I'm doing right now? And then, of course, you iterate over a few different choices, and it's like, oh man, so, eventually you realize that there's usually like a best reply to everything. I mean, sometimes you can get people into these unwinnable situations, but the most interesting ones are where you kind of take, it's not even a leap of faith, but you do your best guess in terms of what you think your opponent thinks about you. And I like this map because it feels like what these missions do. So what I've done with my squad is I've accepted a contract, which will pay me well, but I've obviously left my strike team isn't idle. If there's if there's an incursion of some kind, they're going to be off delivering a parcel somewhere, and they're not going to be able to do the thing that I need them to do. So the tension of the tactical game seems to be reflected in this higher layer in terms of saying, you know, where do you want your units? What are they doing? How are you, you know, how are you going to balance the need to make money against the fact that you actually need your forces to be able to do the things that you've committed to? So I like it. It's neat. Would you like to return your squad to HQ? We've completed the contract delivery item for parcel tossers and have been paid 10,210. So one of the things I think I should be doing is, ideally, I would have... I think the ideal would be for me to make a new squad. So I've got 3 strength for each of these. So I think what I want to do is build up to a third unit. Well, this is the problem, is maybe it doesn't make sense to have a unit just sitting idle waiting to respond to events. So let's see what happens if we're on a contract and something bad happens. Okay, so again, we can eradicate the raider force, but it seems to be that we... Well, full satellite coverage is in effect, but... Disrupt faction activity at Breitling University. Put a stop to guest's venture. Pays better. They're slightly stronger, it looks like. It is also full away. It's a fair distance away. Set up a checkpoint here. Keep your squad here for 6 hours. Or patrol this building. I want to work out how much I'm getting paid per hour for each of these. Because I feel like the 4-hour one is the better. So 58.85 per hour. Oh, fancy that. The 6-hour one is the better paying one. I think that's reasonably close to my... I think it's closer than the university. Alright, let's do it. No, I don't want to send them back. I'm going to be really interested when I have like multiple squads running all over this map doing different things. I hope this is right. I'm slightly concerned that it says I'm slightly concerned that it's still telling me to do this contract thing, but okay, so guests have finished their shape virus, but that's fine because they seem to be pretty strong. I have a call coming through. We detected a Sonata presence at this library. Our suspicion is that they're going after another similar relic. The population are extremely wary. Just the suggestion of any rogue activity from a complex shape form is enough to create concern. Tell me about it. Okay, so obviously this is the higher priority, so we'll move on. I'm curious if this counts. You've abandoned the location you were asked to protect. Is there a penalty? Oh, fair enough. And blue sign light has decreased their fun. Okay, so there is a consequence for that. So yeah, those defensive ones don't seem to be... I thought there was an incursion. Yeah, so I kind of... I wasn't quite sure what the consequence would be, but it feels like this is attempting to hold an academic conference on new... Okay, call from Breitling University. Put them on hold while I deal with the incursion. This will probably be the last one for tonight because I'm already an hour and a half done. I think I'm being quite quiet over this. Alright, Madeline Fourier. The Sonata units are already inside the building and there's more on the way. We'll do our best. Alex, we may not be able to save these civilians, but we should aim to take out every last Sonata unit. Remember, if you test your plan, you'll be able to see where my predicted movements for any Sonata units are, which are not currently aware of your presence. Groovy. You can deploy units around the edge of the lot on this mission. It means that you can put them on roads and pavements outside of the perimeter wall where the enemies are. Try to see if you can get the jump on them. Okay. Let's take a quick look at the patrol. Alright, yeah, so they're just blowing everyone away. Not so great. Okay. So while they're busy massacring civilians, unit cannot navigate here. So I suppose the question is... Let's make them wait... Oh. I want to make them wait for just a heartbeat. Basically to get this guy to turn back. I think even that 1 second is probably too long. So like half a second. So I guess the next question is, do we go in like guns blazing or do we try for some cover? I think this guy I'm gonna set up that way. This guy I'm gonna set up here. Okay, so then they'll both be active. I mean, the next thing I could potentially do, let's say continue on site for both of these guys. Okay, so let's see how that turns out. Okay, so they still realize us. I didn't clear out the aim, so let's delete that. I feel like this guy reaching the... So the only problem is that if they become aware of me once they go into the building. Because obviously they still keep moving around after all that. Okay, what I think we'll do here. Still get him to wait. And then at the end of that, he'll aim. Oh crap. Okay, so he doesn't have a shot on that stuff. I need to reevaluate my plan. I wonder if I'm going to be able to get away with this. Okay, let's totally reevaluate this, because it looks like they're going to ignore me until I actually get in the building. And I think so instead of trying to shoot them all in the doorway, I'm going to set myself up to, the pistol guy is going to follow them inside here. I'm going to set people up at the windows instead. This may wind up being like a really bad call. But I kind of want to see how this goes. I mean, it's the last round, right? Or it's the last round of the night, so if I really blow it, I'll just load a new game next time. This is going to be a trickier one because he'll get to his target so quickly. But he can go around the side. I think once we're here, we'll do engage on sight. And the pistol... once we get here, and then engage on sight. Okay, let's see if this works. For a time, a planning agent overcoming an obstacle. In search of a goal, she heard the call, the grief of the city ripped to oblivion. Any analysis, Balakva? Sounds like black metal lyrics. I can't get an origin fix on it if that's what you're asking. Okay, so they'll definitely go hot here. So that means this isn't a good call anymore. I can't get this guy into position anymore, so we'll... Alright, let's see if this works. I think I might be underusing the pistol. Yeah, so pistol's not doing anything after, so... next unit... Slightly curious how that turns out. Okay, let's see how it goes. Obviously won't see any more activity from the AI at this point, so...
Hostile neutralized.
Nice. Okay, so realistically, what are they gonna do? I mean, if they stand still, we win. Both of us... Okay, all of these guys have got targets. The only person who doesn't is this unit. But he can't move anywhere I really want him to. So let's actually see what happens after we commit this turn, and then we'll decide from there.
System primed. Hostile.
Okay, that
Neutralized.
turned out exactly the way we thought it would. So obviously,
Are victorious.
obviously, many civilians died so we could get a better position, but them's the breaks, I guess. This level of aggression from Sonata is unprecedented. We'll submit our data for technical analysis. I'll reconvene with you shortly.
Hostile. Neutralized. Hostile.
So I will admit, one thing I'd kind of like is if there would be a way to play the whole mission over again. But that's a pretty minor... Okay, relic gained, standard 10k bond gained, enemy unit killed in okay, 4 enemy units killed in action. I don't know... Oh, I think that's a shotgunner, actually. That could have been bad. There's absolutely no explanation for this death toll. Sonata could easily have acquired the relic without causing this level of damage. It seems totally irrational. I'm getting frantic calls all over the city. Districts are in uproar. We desperately need some assistance. Balakwa, Patch and Chancellor Lane Malhotra from Breitling. Despite our recent applications, I'm willing to compromise. Altercations, I'm willing to compromise and provide some support on this project. We respectfully ask that you curb some of Alex's more cavalier behavior when it comes to city management, however. I apologize, Chancellor. I will be sure to discuss it with them. The university would perhaps be better equipped to help had the council not slashed our funding over the last 2 years. Yes, I understand that this is less than ideal, but we could be facing a serious threat to the entire city. I thought the entire city was supposed to be your domain. Were we compelled to militarize during the rise in realization to protect ourselves? Things don't seem to... we were compelled to militarize during the rise in realization to protect ourselves. Things don't seem to have changed. Look, this is boring. You do research, right? Want to research the most annoying shapeform we've seen since my 1.0 version? All you have to do is help us stop it. You can keep any other data that you gather. Alakwa. Well, if those are serious terms, then we could be interested. It doesn't appear that we have to gain any further insight from the relics at this point. That we're able to gain any further insight into the relics at this point. We know that they can accelerate computational systems, and their monetary value is demonstrable, but beyond that, their connection to Sonata is largely opaque. If you're able to capture a Sonata unit, we may be able to extract some information from it by analyzing its shape connection. This feels like it's been inspired a bit by XCOM. You're liking the Cyberpunk Megacorp story they've got going on. I think if you've not checked it out, the letter B, I think you'd very much enjoy Frozen Synapse. Okay, I've got a ton of stuff to do on this menu, but I am definitely at a point. I'm surprised there's no save. But I'll go to main menu. Okay, so mission starts and whatnot. I really want to keep playing this. I'll give a quick summary of what I've saw. So this, I'm not even remotely close to being able to offer any kind of a substantial opinion on this. This was really, I mean, almost an experimental stream. Like I got the key from Mode 7, so thank you again for that. I really like the other Frozen games, Frozen Synapse and Frozen Cortex. What I've noticed at the beginning, so I mean, if you've played the first Frozen Synapse, you are, you're pretty much ready to go. What I think is so interesting about this game is, so the first Frozen Synapse, the story was sort of set up in these little segments, almost like a comic book, or you'd read the text, you'd sort of see what was going on. Bormoth, I don't think anybody said it was XCOM-like. I know I said that people who know my love of strategy games and that will like it, but it's its own beast. It is, however, very much inspired by Julian Gollop's Laser Squad, and he's the guy who made XCOM. But yeah, like this. So the first game, basically you had a series of levels that you would go through. So basically it was like encounter to encounter to encounter, so on and so forth. And I definitely feel like I need to get into a little bit more depth with the city game, but or the city layer. But I think there's some really neat stuff going on there. I think I need to figure out the exact balance, because clearly it seems that if you don't have a spare squad, it doesn't make any sense to guard a location for 6 hours. Like, that just seems like a recipe to have what happened to me lower my monthly income by breaking a contract by not pursuing one of my higher priority tasks. I mean, I still think I would have done the choice if I'd known what the reduction was going to be, because I got 10,000 for finishing the mission and it wasn't that hard. But yeah, so I can definitely say letter B. Like, if you liked sort of the whole feel of this one, I definitely think if you've not tried the original Frozen Synapse, the game, you know, I think the game would appeal to you for similar reasons. The faction politics is more of a flavor. Like, again, you're just going to have a series of missions one after the other, but it's a weird and sort of fun story for these games for sure. So yeah, I think the things that really stood out to me in this very brief sort of first run of the game, the city seems neat to... I think the thing that I like about the city is that, at least it seemed to be at this first level, this extra... Like, it reflected some of the things that I liked about the tactical layer of, or the main game of Frozen Synapse 1. Where, you know, I need to sort of anticipate what the next things are going to be. It's really neat to sort of have all these factions moving on in the city, trying to pursue their own things. I'm maybe a little unsure about how much I am responsible for hanging on to, because it did say, you know, don't let the city get too unruly. But then there's like a hacker team way the heck out of, you know, nowhere that seems a lot stronger than I can handle. So maybe I don't want to be messing around with that. But I kind of feel like through these tutorials and that I've been given enough of the basics to sort of be able to make some of these decisions. And I'm sure the game is sort of set up to give me a series of interesting challenges to try and make this all work. So I don't know, the idea of capture, I don't know how capture is going to work on this. So like obviously in XCOM you need to build an item and use it on an enemy. It might just be that you need to win a particular mission and there's going to be some, you know, unarmed one that you leave at the very end or something like that. But it's neat. It's, I guess in one sense, it's a very, Oct, I'm quite literally just wrapping up right now. I'm so sorry. That's incredible that you're giving so many people as a host, but I don't normally cast at this hour. Actually, I only did this so that I could do a couple of hours in or even just an hour and a half in Frozen Synapse 2. Hey, Octavian, sorry, I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, I feel really terrible about that because you've been incredibly generous with your attention. I would love to show this game to your people. So, okay, while you're here, if you guys are here, Frozen Synapse 2 Synapse 2 just came out by Mode 7 Games. If you've not checked them out, check this out on Steam right now. This is a really interesting strategy game. If you like XCOM-ish sort of things, if you like strategy style games, what this is, you simultaneously plan your turns and there's no random number generation inside of it. So you wind up playing this mind game with your opponent in terms of what the best reply to your actions are going to be. If you've not checked out any of these games, these are really cool and I am surprised more people don't hear about them. Now I know Oct is probably playing Path of Exile. Let me take a quick second, guys, and for those of you who don't know him, Octavian Zero was somebody that Eyes of Sin let me know about and brought into this stream. Streams a lot of Path of Exile, incredibly friendly guy, and I'm desperate... Oh yeah, and this game's got an amazing soundtrack by the producer Paul Kilduff Taylor. Path of Exile leads to your life. Fair enough. Yeah, I know I'm a really bad target for a Path of Exile audience, because this is not necessarily an action game. But for those of you that do like strategy games, if you've played classic games, it's a lot like Julian Gollop's Laser Squad. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But if you like strategy games, check out Frozen Synapse 2, check out Frozen Synapse 1 if you have to, or Frozen Cortex is the other one. This is a really cool game, and I am going to be playing more of it. But I was just doing my sign off for today, so I'm sorry, Octavian Raiders. If Octavian wants to host somebody else, I definitely recommend checking out his chat. I'll probably be hosting somebody tonight myself. You played the first a little bit? Did you care for it at all? I'll finish up my little wrap up for everyone here, but I'll definitely say, like, the thing that I like the most, I'm really intrigued by the scale on this one. So the idea of trying to invest in the long term, to build up these squads, to decide what am I going to need in the future, what can I dedicate towards fulfilling contracts and getting income, what am I going to need to assign to defensive positions and such. I think that's going to add what might be an obvious layer to a strategy game like this, but it's like, I like that it feels a lot like the original game in just sort of this the dynamic of you never know quite what's going to happen, so you always sort of have this like weighted this distribution of potential outcomes that you're balancing, and I like that that's reflected at the macro as well as the micro level of this game. Never got deep into it. Might give it a try between leagues of PoE at some point. Yeah, actually, Octavian, I'll say, if you ever want to try, you have the first one. So if you ever want to try, it's asynchronous multiplayer. So hit me up for Frozen Synapse 1. And I believe there are co-op missions that we can do as well as rivalrous if you prefer to pwn noobs. But yeah, this is a really interesting game. I am going to do more of it. I don't know if I'm going to do it tomorrow because I did lock in a couple of other things, but I might do a special cast over the weekend for more Frozen Synapse 2. In the meantime, let me get a quick link to the Steam page. Also, if you guys really like this music, and I don't see why you should... Oh, that's a shame. Mostly positive? Huh. It seems that a couple people are running into technical problems. Anyways, if you're interested in buying it, there is the Steam link. I'm Canadian, so $33.99 for me right now. I think you get a discount if you own the original Frozen Synapse, so do check your Steam inbox. The soundtrack right now is $11.49. That's by Nervous Test Pilot. Let me see if I can find Frozen Synapse 2 soundtrack. So if you like this music, check out Nervous_Test Pilot. You can buy the soundtrack on Steam, but I believe it should also be available on Bandcamp. Let me see if I can find him. Okay, well, there's his website. And there we go. There's where you can buy the soundtrack, or you can buy all of his music, and you can listen to all of his music on that as well. Really talented electronic musician, as well as a maker of good games. I don't seem to have a credits option here. But yeah, this is basically kind of what I was expecting of this game. I'm sorry I spent so little time on it tonight, but like I said, this is really just an option. This is a little bit of an experiment. I wanted to sort of document the experience of playing the game for the very first time. I had a good time. I hope you guys got a little bit of a hint as to what's going on. Oh, you know what? Here, because you guys are here, I'll see multiplayer. You should be able to see Um, okay. So we should be able to watch this.
I would never want to belong to any club or have someone.
Habinabbit, thank you very much. There's not a whole lot that I've shown you right now, but I really appreciate that. Okay, so here's what this game looks like when two people are playing it. Good. Come on. So that's the first turn. This is a new unit.
Unit down. Hostile neutralized.
I'm curious if you can see the plans that they assign. Yes. You're looking forward to seeing some in the future. You really enjoyed the first one. That's great. I like the game a lot. I don't know if you ever played Frozen Cortex, but I really enjoyed that one too. This is a terrible way to introduce the game to people, I think. Yeah, that guy didn't have a chance. So in the first round... Nope. So it seems like he lost one of his units right at the start. So I'm not quite sure what this unit does. Maybe it's the flamethrower? Let's see what happens. Okay, well it's a moot point because that guy was behind the cover. So they evenly traded. But I think this guy got the shot off. No, okay, so they both reset.
Down.
Interesting. Okay, so why did that? I think this guy was looking in the wrong spot. So he just moved.
Unit down.
Okay, so in this case, this unit did better because he focused his aim on the target, whereas this guy was looking in the wrong spot. You can tell that from here. It looks like he didn't change that order
Unit down.
at all. So then this guy was left on his own. Obviously, he had a positional advantage. I don't know if this was dark or not, but I think he just tried to make a run for it behind. Oh no, he basically ran straight in. Okay, fair enough. There's not a lot to pull out of that, but it's a very pretty game. And essentially, these two players sort of made committed their turns at the same time, and we got to see that play out. So unfortunately, I couldn't. I just went for the highest rated player and saw something that they played together. I'm gonna shut up and call it a night. I'm sorry I could not have entertained you guys more. Again, Octavian, if you want to recommend somebody that your guys might want to watch, I actually have somebody who I really like, and I don't get to see him very often. The guy I'm going to host tonight is Outworld. Outworld is normally a speedrunner from Australia, but tonight he is playing Deus Ex Human Revolution. He's a really friendly guy. He's one of the few speedrunners who I can really check out. So if there isn't somebody you normally go and check out after Octstream, or you just really like the sound of my voice and want to support somebody I like, I'm going to be hosting Outworld. He's playing something a little more conventional, so I don't think it'll be a speedrun. But he really, in my view, he really knows how to keep an audience's attention. And he has a few records on Mortal Kombat, from what I understand, although I've never played it, so I don't have much of an opinion on that. If you want to see some more Frozen signups, I will be doing this. I don't have an exact date yet. I'm going to try and do it on the weekend. I might even do it tomorrow, but I'm not sure. But I'm definitely going to be playing a lot of this game coming up. Other stuff that'll be happening will be probably Crusader Kings 2 on Monday, and we're continuing on with XCOM as well. So thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you over at Outworlds.